Team USA. Agumba Wale was sensational en route to the MVP. She won a national championship at Notre Dame in college.
The roster is out, and the internet is already divided. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Kelsey Plum made it. But this team is not just about the big names. A veteran who delivered every single time got left behind. A rookie nobody believed in just earned her spot on the biggest stage. Some selections make perfect sense. Others have fans absolutely furious. Is this the strongest Team USA ever assembled? Or did the committee just make the biggest mistake of 2026? Every name on this roster carries a story, and some of those stories will shock you. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and stay locked in, because the truth about this roster is about to be revealed. Guards who run the show, 8 guards, 8 different stories, but only a few of them are going to define how this team actually plays on the world stage.
The USA women's national team in the Olympics. Here's Ionescu.
Start with Caitlin Clark. By now you know the name, but let's talk numbers for a second. 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game in the 2025 WNBA season with the Indiana Fever. She was drafted in 2024 out of the University of Iowa, and in just 1 year, she became one of the most talked about players in the entire league. But here's the part that surprises most people. This is going to be Clark's first time on the USA women's national team. Not her second, not her third, her first. The player who broke NCAA scoring records and became a household name across America has never worn that USA jersey in senior competition. That changes now.
History! Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer.
Clark's game is built on one thing above everything else: vision. She sees passes before they exist. She runs the floor at a pace that most defenders simply can't keep up with. And her range from behind the three-point line is not just good, it's genuinely dangerous from anywhere on the court. The moment she gets into transition, defenses have to make a choice, and there's no right answer. Right alongside her is Kelsey Plum, and if Clark is the new face, Plum is the engine that never stops. 6 national team appearances, gold medal at the Paris Olympics in 2024.
What disappointment for France. The Opals, bronze medalists at Paris 2024.
In the 2025 season with the Los Angeles Sparks, she averaged 19.5 points, 3.1 rebounds, and 5.7 assists per game, and finished in the top 5 for points, assists, and three-pointers in the entire league. She is a lefty shooter who creates scoring runs out of nothing, and she is the kind of player who can completely change a game in under 3 minutes. Then there is Chelsea Gray. At 5'11", she is not the biggest guard on this team. But ask anyone around the WNBA who they least want running the point in a close game, and her name comes up every single time. She won the unrivaled 1v1 tournament this year, and she did it by beating players half her age. They call her the point god for a reason. Her ball handling is elite. Her no-look passing is something that makes even experienced defenders.
Gray using the screen from Wilson. 3 seconds left. What a find! Gray to Wilson on the finish.
Second-guess themselves, and her ability to manage a close game under pressure is unmatched. Paige Beckers joins as a 6-foot point guard for the Dallas Wings, averaging 19.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 5.4 assists in the 2025 season. She was drafted in 2025 after her time at the University of Connecticut, and this is also her first time on the senior national team. She is what coaches call a pure scorer, someone who can get her shot off from any spot on the floor and does it efficiently, not just often. Sonia Catronone brings versatility to this guard group. At 6'1", she plays shooting guard for the Washington Mystics with 20-25 averages of 14.9 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. She came from Notre Dame University and was drafted in 2025.
The Washington Mystics select Sonia Citron, University of Notre Dame.
This is also her first senior national team appearance. What makes her valuable is that she can guard multiple positions. She is not locked into one role, which gives the coaching staff real flexibility. Ryan Howard is 6'2", which makes her one of the tallest guards you will ever see at this level. She averaged 17.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4.6 assists with the Atlanta Dream in 2025. Her length creates problems for smaller defenders, and she led the entire 2025 season with 102 three-pointers made. In the 2024 3x3 tournament, she led the team in blocks, a guard leading in blocks. That tells you everything about her defensive instincts. When she is hot from the perimeter, it changes the entire spacing of the offense. And then there is Jackie Young, who many people around the league consider the strongest guard in the world, literally. She plays for the Las Vegas Aces, averaged 16.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.1 assists in 2025.
Final few seconds, Young, pump fake, pulls, fires, hits! Oh, that is the way!
And this will be her third national team appearance. At the Paris Olympics, she tied the team's highest steal numbers. Her game is not built on flash, it is built on physicality, defense, and making the right play at the right time. She shuts down the opponent's best player, and she does it every night. Forwards who own the paint. If the guards are the face of this team, the forwards are the backbone. And this group is built differently. Angel Reese came into the WNBA with a chip on her shoulder, and she never put it down. The 6'3" power forward for the Chicago Sky averaged 14.7 points, 12.6 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in the 2025 season. And that rebounding number is not a typo. She was drafted in 2024 out of Louisiana State University, and while she has played on youth national teams before, this is her very first appearance with the senior USA women's national team. She gets under opponents' skin, she fights for every single possession, and she wins the battles in the paint that don't show up on the highlight reel.
Angel Reese with the nice hands and catch, and able to finish.
Coaches love players like that. Double-doubles are not an occasional thing for Reese. They are the expectation every single night. Tiara Hamby brings high energy that the coaching staff absolutely relies on. At 6'3", she plays for the Los Angeles Sparks and averaged 18.4 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in 2025. She was drafted that same year out of Wake Forest University. This is her third national team appearance. And in her last one, the 2024 3x3 tournament, she led the team in rebounds. Her value is not just in what she does when she has the ball, it's in what she does when nobody's watching, setting screens, chasing down loose balls, running the floor in transition before anyone else gets there. That relentless energy changes games. Kiki Arifin is the newest name on this list for most fans. The 6'3" power forward currently plays for the Washington Mystics, averaging 13.3 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 1.6 assists in the 2025 season.
She gets the rebound and the finish, and it's a Steph White timeout.
She was drafted in 2025 out of the University of Southern California, and this is her very first national team appearance at any level of senior competition. What makes her interesting is her footwork. She is not a traditional post player who just catches and goes to the basket. She can step out, face up, and hit the mid-range shot, which creates a mismatch problem for opposing bigs who aren't used to stepping out to guard a center. She is young, she is raw in some areas, but the potential here is genuinely exciting. Kalaya Cooper rounds out the forwards, and she is the veteran of this group. Drafted back in 2016, she has 5 national team appearances and a history of delivering in the biggest moments. Her last one came at the Paris Olympics in 2024, where she scored 12 points, 10 of them in the fourth quarter, to help seal Team USA's win over France in the gold medal game. The 6'1" small forward and shooting guard hybrid averaged 15.6 points.
And the runner by Bird in and out, look down, and Candace comes up with the rebound. Bullets a pass out. Here's Copper running to the rim and scores with the right hand.
2.9 rebounds and 1.5 assists with the Phoenix Mercury in 2025. When the game is on the line, she wants the ball, and she has already proven she can handle that pressure on the biggest stage in the world. 1 center, all the pressure 12 players, 11 guards and forwards, and 1 center. That is not a typo. The entire center position for Team USA in the 2026 World Cup rests on one person, Aaliyah Boston. Boston is 6'5" and previously played for the Indiana Fever, where she averaged 15 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in the 2025 season. She was drafted in 2023 out of the University of South Carolina, and this is her third national team appearance. She is technically listed as a power forward in WNBA settings.
This is an Indiana team that does not have a ton of offensive firepower, but Boston does.
But at this World Cup, she is the only true center on the roster. That is a lot of responsibility. But if you watch how Boston plays, the weight does not seem to bother her. She is fundamentally sound in a way that younger players simply are not. Her post footwork, her positioning on defense, her ability to communicate with the players around her, it is all built on years of deliberate, unglamorous work. She does not rely on athleticism alone. She relies on reading the game before it happens, knowing exactly where to be before the play even develops. Think about what that actually means at the international level. World Cup teams spend months studying opponents. They chart tendencies, they identify weak spots, they design plays specifically to exploit whatever they find. And the one position every international team is going to circle on their scouting report? The center, because there is only one. Teams are going to attack Boston with size, with foul bait.
It's been a physical matchup. And I will say this about Aaliyah Boston, having covered her all in college and watching her demeanor.
With back-to-back possessions designed to wear her down. She knows this. And the fact that she accepted this role without hesitation says something real about her character. Her rim protection changes how opponents attack the paint. When a guard drives baseline and sees Boston rotating into the lane, the decision tree changes completely. Lay it up and risk the block, pull up and give Team USA a defensive rebound, or kick it out and reset. None of those options are comfortable. That hesitation, that split-second doubt Boston creates, is worth more than any individual stat she puts up. Defense is often won in the moments before contact, and Boston wins those moments consistently. On the offensive end, she is not someone who needs the ball forced to her. She earns her touches through movement, through sealing defenders, through being exactly where the offense needs her. Her field goal percentage near the rim reflects a player who takes smart shots, not just available ones.
Offensive rebound, Aaliyah Boston. Denied at the rim.
Every touch inside is a high percentage play because she has already done the positioning work before the ball arrives. The coaching staff faced a real decision: carry an extra big and reduce guard depth, or trust one center completely and load up on versatility everywhere else. They chose versatility. They chose guard depth. They chose Boston. That choice only works if Boston stays healthy, stays out of foul trouble in elimination games, and delivers when the margin is one possession. No pressure. But if anyone on this roster was built for exactly that kind of pressure, players who didn't make the cut. Here is where it gets uncomfortable, because every player on this roster means at least one player who deserved consideration did not make it. Veronica Burton was one of the first names people expected to see. The guard from the Golden State Valkyries has been one of the most consistent defensive players in the league. She reads passing lanes, she applies pressure without fouling, and she does the small things that winning teams absolutely need. Her absence from this roster genuinely surprised a lot of people inside the basketball community. Juju Watkins is a different kind of story, and honestly, one of the more heartbreaking ones. The guard from the University of Southern California was considered by many people to be the most talented young player in the entire country.
For Juju Watkins. And with that, she sets the USC record for most points in a game.
If healthy, well, she could potentially have made history as the first collegiate women's player ever selected for a senior national team. But she is currently on the injury list, and that injury cost her this opportunity. Get well soon, Juju. The basketball world needs you healthy. Cameron Brink was another name that came up often in discussion. At 6'4" with a wingspan that creates real problems for opposing players, the Los Angeles Sparks forward is young and still developing, but her tools are undeniable. The committee clearly decided that this group of forwards had enough, but you can make a real argument that Brink's physical profile is the kind of thing you simply cannot teach. Rakia Jackson, also from the Los Angeles Sparks, did not make the team either. And Brianna Jones from the Atlanta Dream suffered a torn meniscus while playing overseas just weeks before the announcement of a brutal injury at the worst possible time.
Kia Jackson is down.
And the whole team has come out onto the floor.
Reeve claiming one of her players was being held.
Get well soon, Brianna. Lauren Betts is a collegiate player currently at UCLA and was considered a potential center option. At her age and stage of development, missing this team is not the end. It might actually be motivation that pushes her to the next level faster. Watch that name. And then there is Brittany Griner, 7th in the entire league in block shots in 2025, while playing limited minutes for the Atlanta Dream. Limited minutes, 7th in the league. That number alone should make you think. Some fans believe leaving Griner off this roster was the single biggest mistake of the entire selection process. Is she wrong? The committee made its call. But that stat line is not easy to ignore. What this roster really means on paper, this team has everything. Guard depth that most international programs can only dream about. A front court built for transition and rebounding. One elite anchor in the middle. Veteran experience from players who have been here before. And the hunger of first-timers who have been waiting their entire careers for this moment. But paper means nothing when you are 40 minutes into a semifinal game against Spain or Australia, and the margin is one possession. The real question is chemistry. This team is loaded with alpha players. Caitlin Clark wants the ball in her hands in big moments. So does Kelsey Plum. So does Chelsea Gray. So does Kalia Cooper. So does Angel Reese. Those are all legitimate claims because all of those players have earned the right to be trusted in pressure situations. But in a 40-minute game, the ball can only go to one person at a time. The coaching staff is going to have to make some hard decisions about roles, minutes, and who goes to the bench when the situation demands a different look. International basketball is also a different game. The physical style of play at the World Cup level, the officiating, and the pace reward teams that play connected, unselfish basketball over teams that rely on individual brilliance. Team USA has always had the talent. The question every single time is whether the talent becomes a team. The veterans on this roster, Gray, Plum, Cooper, and Young, know this. They have been here. They understand what it takes to win at this level. And their job is going to be as much about setting the culture in that locker room as it is about what they do on the floor. For Caitlin Clark specifically, this is a different kind of test. The WNBA is competitive, but it is a familiar environment for her now. International competition with different defenses, different physicality, and different officiating is genuinely new territory. How she adjusts in those first few games will set the tone for her entire national team career. And Angel Reese brings an energy to this team that cannot be measured in a box score. She is going to throw herself into every battle in the paint. She is going to fight for every loose ball. She is going to make the game hard on opposing teams in ways that do not always show up in the final stats. And that kind of effort is contagious. One more thing worth thinking about: this team has no backup center behind Aaliyah Boston. If she gets into foul trouble in an elimination game, the coaching staff is going to have to improvise with forwards in the post. That is a real risk, and it is a decision the committee made knowingly. They clearly believe Boston is reliable enough to handle that burden. But it is the one area of this roster that international teams will absolutely try to attack. The talent is here. The history is here. The motivation is here. Whether this group plays like a team when it truly matters, that is the only question left to answer. That is Team USA's 2026 World Cup roster, 12 players, 1 goal. Congratulations to every single woman who earned a spot on this team. You worked for it. As for the players who did not make the cut, this is not the end of your story, it is just the next chapter. Now we want to hear from you. Did the committee get this right, or was someone unfairly left out? Who would you replace, and who would you put in their place? Drop your answer in the comments below, and trust us, there are no wrong answers here. If this video brought you value, hit that like button. It helps more people find this content. We will see you on the next one.